We are live. You? Where's the invite? It's like a quarter mile away. I think we'll give it like one more minute for the late people, and we'll all just publicly shame them and stare at them as they walk in. Does that sound good? No? Okay. All right. Well, they told me that this is the last session of the day, of the last couple of days, so I'm pretty excited. Everybody else excited to be, obviously here, but done with the sessions? It's good? All right. We'll try and make this one exciting, entertaining if we can. I'm Nate. I am talking to you today about modernizing your agency and the customer experience. So pretty excited to be here. We've been at Hawksoft and partnered up with Hawksoft for the last couple of years. Fantastic group, as everybody in here already knows. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Podium and kind of the agenda for today. So we're going to talk about the current state of our customer experiences, tips that we can use as agencies, and then what to look for in text messaging solutions. I'm Nate Tull. I work over at Podium on the sales team over there. Been there for about 6 years. Background in technology, software for the last 15 years or so. Spent time at Google out in California, and a number of other small kind of businesses that basically worked with agencies like you guys, and then now currently Podium. I keep walking in front of this. That's not allowed. You guys have to keep me honest here. I can't see anything when that light's in my face. So,
if you can't see anything, you're in the right spot.
That's right. That's smart. Thank you. Maybe I should just stay over here. That's what I'm going to do. So Podium, we are backed by Google, kind of an interesting relationship there. 1,200 employees. We're based out in Utah. 150,000 businesses that we work with, obviously outside of the insurance space as well. But pretty excited to be able to talk to you guys today about this. So I wanted to start with this, okay? Who here, and be honest, has already sent a text message or gotten a text message since I started talking? Anybody? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. My people. Don't worry, I don't blame you. I would like you guys to text me at this number here. So I'll give you a minute. Just say something like, hey, this is Nate. I'm at the HUG conference, right? So I'll pause. Feel free to text, okay? See who has fast fingers. Everybody that raised your hands, I'm expecting the first ones to come through, okay? There will be prizes. So if that entices you at all, if you like Starbucks, maybe there's a reason for you to participate. So feel free. Hawksoft swag, love it. Nothing better than wearing your Hawksoft hat to Starbucks for free coffee. All right, everybody, we give you enough time? Text in there, some head nods. 218-220-4450. 4455. Look, I'm blind up here. Thank you for keeping me honest, like I asked. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on. Just stay tuned, okay? If you didn't text yet, you have slower fingers than I thought. All right, we're going to talk about the current state of our customer communication, okay? And this was done off of a survey with thousands and thousands of businesses, including insurance agencies across the nation. So, interesting statistic here. Less than half of business owners say that they are effective at communicating with their customers. Okay? You don't have to raise your hand. I'm not going to embarrass you. But if you're thinking to yourself, like, I'm not super effective with communicating with my policyholders, you're in the right spot, okay? I read, and I put this little asterisk down here, but I read in Agency Block this morning, actually, the number one reason that people leave their agent is because of communication, right? And I'm sure a lot of people already know that, right? It's all about communication, staying up to date on what our policyholders need, and basically being ahead of the curve there, okay? All right, have a couple of big names in here, the Amazons, the Grubhubs, the Googles, and Teslas, and I'm curious, I'm going to ask the room here, right? I want it to be a little more interactive. What comes to mind when we think about these kind of big names? Anybody? Brave souls? Visual. Yes. Yeah, we recognize the names. What else? Sorry? They're modern. Yeah, they're up to date. That's not fair. You stole the title of the presentation. No, that's great. Yeah, they're modern. They're up to date. Anybody else? Oh, that's my favorite spot. Yeah, don't have to leave our house is what she said. Amazon, they deliver stuff. We have to search on Google. Grubhub, more food. Yeah, Tesla, they will deliver your Tesla to your house. I bought a Tesla online. No salesman, just, right? Yes?
Industry changing.
Ooh. Big swinger. Yeah, industry changing was the answer. Sorry for people online. They are, right? These people came around, these businesses came around, and they were industry changing. What this did for us as small business owners is it changed the expectations of our customers, right? People want the same experience that we have when we order off Amazon and get something delivered the next day or same day. People want that type of interaction when I go onto Google and I find out anything I could ever imagine. People want that interaction of ordering food and getting it right away. We want that convenience in any business that we actually work with, that we communicate with, okay? So they've done a lot of great things for us. I love these companies. But they also did us a disservice. People expect the best from every type of business that they interact with. So we as business owners need to provide the best, right? All right. Perceptions and consumer expectations are misaligned. 66% of businesses believe that customers prefer to engage with a business through email. 60% of businesses believe that customers prefer to engage with a business through phone calls, and 89% of customers prefer to engage with a business through texting or another messaging app, okay? So once again, think to yourself, I won't make you raise your hand, but are we doing everything here necessary to keep up with the expectations that have been put on our new customers and how they want to communicate with us, right? Are we sticking to the email and phone only, or are we providing another solution to be able to communicate with everybody how they want to be? Okay, so think about that. 53% of businesses say their communication is old-fashioned. We live kind of in an industry that is forced to be old-fashioned in a way, right? Like how many policies, how many new things do we have to send out through email, right? We have to. So it's no doubt that we're going to be considered part of this in a sense, right? But what are we doing to actually overcome that? I think it's interesting. 42% of those businesses say that they don't have a plan of changing in the next year. So we're sitting in a spot, 50% of businesses out there, right, are sitting in a spot where their communication or their systems are old, and they're not planning to change. Once again, think to yourself, how can I change as a business owner to be able to adapt to the expectations that customers have now? All right.
David.
Whoa. I haven't even asked anything yet. How many people, raise of hands, know my middle name? Oh, yeah. Pretty interesting. I didn't text during this conversation. All right. That wasn't going to be for the gift cards here for Starbucks. The gift cards is the first person that texts in their agency name to the same number. And I have my friend somewhere. Can't do it. He's not even going to try. First person that texts in will get $25 to Starbucks on me. So go. I will. I'll allow you to text. Didn't even try. No. That should make it better. Okay. We'll see. My friend in the back will let us know. Actually, yeah. Who said it? First one. First name.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, I can't.
Courtney with Kimball Insurance.
Hey, Courtney. All right. Come find me after. Okay, yeah, quick fingers. Anybody needs a professional texter? It's Courtney. Okay. All right, let's jump through. I want to talk about 3 tips that we can do to increase our customer engagement. This one's a hot topic. I know a couple people I talked to today actually were discussing this at lunch. I don't know if anybody's in here because, once again, I'm blind. But we need to make our landline textable. It's key. We have this number that we've usually had around for a long time for a lot of different agents. And we need to be able to make it textable. There's a number of different ways that we can do this, but it's something that, like, if you haven't actually looked into this yet, I would write this down as like a number 1 key thing to do after leaving. Please not during the conversation here, but yeah, after. So make it textable, okay? Engaging with our customers on their preferred channels, okay? 89% of consumers, as we already discussed this, want to engage with a business via text messaging. We need to meet them where they are now. We need to create a single point of contact, right? So we have this landline. We have this Facebook page. We have this email. We have all these different forms of communication that we're expected to be able to manage. And as much as we can, we need to centralize these. Right? Like, look, what's the one thing that we can never get more of? It's time. Right? Like, there's not enough time in our day to be able to do everything. And so if we can centralize, save some time operationally on different things like communicating with our customers, we should do it. And we need to promote a textable number everywhere, right? On marketing content, on our websites, in phone calls and emails that we send out to our policyholders. We need to be able to promote that we are textable, no matter where it is that we're communicating with our customers. Because, look, we have I think everybody I've talked to has brought up new policyholders and the generation that's coming back or coming for the first time to agents in that 20 to 30 range. We're getting a lot more of those. We need to meet them where they're at, right? That generation, and I'm basically in that generation. They like to text. We like to text. Courtney, I don't know if you're in that generation, but you're really good at texting too, and you'd fit in there as well. So promote that everywhere. Very key. Very key. Okay, even before the pandemic, right, people were expecting this. Consumers wanted the option to message a business. This 89%, it's going to keep showing up, right? It's a number you got to remember. 90%, it's an A- in some people's books, definitely my books. 89% of consumers would like the option to message a business, right? Less than 50% of businesses have messaging capabilities. There's a disconnect there, right? We go back to that Amazon, that Google scenario. People want that same type of experience, right? And we're not providing it to them for all the businesses that we interact with, right? So once again, think to yourself, am I doing that? Okay, messaging capabilities are more important now, obviously, than ever. 61% of consumers reported that they exchanged a text message with businesses in the last 30 days. That's a high number, right? Let's see our poll. How many people in the last 30 days have texted a business? 5 minutes ago. That was during our conversation. You're fired. Sorry, one more time. I didn't get to see very well. Raise them high. Raise them high. I'd say half-ish in the last 30 days. That's similar. And then you're in this category, right? But 12% of consumers report that they've exchanged a text message with a business in the last day. Holy moly. Anybody? Last day, 1, 2, 3. Probably, whoa, okay. Maybe even higher. It's the expectation, once again, right? It's an easy way to do it. I text my agent personally, right? And it's not their personal cell phone, right? It's a system that they have so that any one of their people in their office can actually respond to me, and I feel like I'm getting taken care of. All right. This is a different stat, but same percentage here. 89% of respondents said they are likely to return to a business that they first visited because of a pandemic-friendly service, right? I know in our industry it was obviously everybody was affected differently by this, right? But we all found different ways that we can produce better, sign up more policyholders, and communicate better. And that's only getting more and more true. But people come back to those services that provide that type of experience. That's why we go back to Google. That's why we go back to Amazon. That's why we go back to Grubhub. That was the other one I had on there. People want that easy type of experience. And so if we're not providing it yet, or if we haven't changed yet, we need to do so. Have we gotten any questions online? I need to make sure. Okay, are you going to tell me? Do I need to check? All right, cool. And look, I don't mind if people have questions during this. I probably should have said that. I have some time at the end for questions and answers, but if you have a question, feel free, okay? It's go with the flow here. Okay, number 2, we need to identify points in the customer journey where engagement is needed, okay? So let's think about, once again, think internally. What are the different interactions that I have for new policyholders or current policyholders, and where do I need to improve my engagement there, right? So I think even at the very beginning, right, let's see, I didn't write the stat up here, I should have. It's like 72% of searches online nowadays are done on their mobile device, right? Pretty insane, right? But a lot of people will search for things like best restaurants near me. How many did that search here in San Diego? Anybody do that? I did that last night, finding the best restaurant near me. What else did I do recently? Repairs. I have a van back at home, and I need a repair on my van. Best mechanic near me. But yeah, look, same thing happens in our industry. Best agent near me, right? People will search online. And so it can start from this initial search, and we get a lot of referrals, right? But even if it's a referral, I'm going to go and look you up online. We need to make sure that at each one of these steps in the journey, we are basically focused on the communication where it needs to be, okay? From initial search, people coming to your website, people reaching out, calling you, their first, types of questions, writing up a new policy, follow up, through the entire time on renewal, and policy updates and changes, right? We need to think about all of these different interactions and how are we focused on our customers and what they are looking for right now. Once again, what's the number one reason people leave? Miscommunication, missed expectations, right? Like, it's true for everybody out there. And so if you haven't developed a plan, I would, this was, off the top of my head, maybe you guys have different, goals and different touch points for your business. But when I was looking at like, hey, where do I need to make sure that, we need to have these touch points to be able to provide the best solution for our customers, these are the ones that came to my mind. It's like, look, that initial thing, if they're reaching out to me, guess what? There's somebody down the street that writes this from the same carrier, and the competition is high, right? And so we need to make sure that we're providing a service that from the initial search is as best as possible, okay? When they get to our website, we need to provide an experience that allows them to communicate with us as easy as possible, and so on and so forth, okay? All right, this is a subtle plug for Podium, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, so hopefully I'm not getting in trouble, but this is one of the things that our business and our software does and helps agents like you guys to be able to communicate with their customers. But at each step in the process, being able to send some type of communication through text message is usually ideal because of the way that consumers want to be communicated with. And there's different functions within Podium that you can actually do each one of these steps as we're looking at this, okay? All right. Commonly reported benefits of texting for businesses. Resolving questions and concerns faster, right? Once again, why did you text? I don't know whoever you texted, but you texted somebody, some business in the last 5 minutes, right?
I couldn't answer after during the session.
That's right. Exactly, right? Look, that's the key here. You guys all texted me, right? Well, most people in here that had fast fingers, and you found out information. You got the answer to a question, or I don't even know if I asked you what my middle name was before, but you got the answer to information, right, that was important to get a gift card. And so, we did that even though I wasn't able to respond to you myself, right? That's what people are expecting, right? They want questions and concerns to be resolved quickly, right? So that's a reported benefit. Providing an easier way for customers to communicate with the business. We've already covered this a couple of times, right? But, okay, how many people do the same thing I do, where I look at my email and I do like this, right? And there's like 50 unread, and I'm like, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that, don't delete, don't like that, and like I'm moving everything into folders. Guess what? Our customers do the same thing, right? But 98% of text messages are opened and read within the first 3 minutes of sending, which is why everybody in here probably now that we're like 20 minutes in has probably sent or received a text message, right? Okay, and then faster responses to leads. Once again, this is important, right? When somebody is looking for a new policy and they're reaching out to us, we need to jump on that quickly, right? If we're not able to do that, and we don't provide a fast experience for people, we can miss out on writing new policies, okay? Sure, let's do this. This was from outside of the industry, but I really liked David and his quote here. You guys can all read it. I know you're halfway down already, but real shocker was how fast it happened when we installed a messaging software on our website. It was shocking how quickly we could answer questions and how quickly they would go from that to booking a trip. And you can do a little bit of a switcheroo on that last word there, booking a policy or something like that. So really, really important. Providing an easy solution, for new customers is key to our businesses. All right, tip number 3 is delivering a personalized experience. People know, probably somebody in here, but I was talking to somebody at lunch or at breakfast this morning about how that demographic I was talking about earlier, how they're going back to agents, right? Like how they want to have that kind of personalized communication interaction because, well, they don't know, right? Like they don't know about the industry, they don't know what they're getting, and a lot of aspects like that. People want a personalized experience. We want that that kind of taken care of type of feeling, right? I mentioned it even for myself. I respond to my agent through text message, and I feel like I'm getting taken care of, even though it's probably a different person talking to me every time. But it's pretty simple for me to be able to communicate that way. Okay. Sending personalized appointment reminders, right? Whether this is renewals or updates on policy or whatever it might be. But being able to send a personalized message is key, right? How many times do we automate something like that where it sounds robotic? People, I mean, look, everybody in here, we know, right? When we get one of those text messages that's very generic, or when we get one of those emails that's very generic, it doesn't feel as personalized, and we're not providing the utmost or the best experience for our customers. Yeah?
Gets me angry is I'll get one that says, hello, agent.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'll get one that says, hello, Kenneth. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Right.
Nobody calls me Kenneth except my mom.
Was it your mom texting you? That's when she's mad, yeah. No, it makes sense, right? Like, we can see through that. And so if we're able to provide that personalized touch for each one of our customers, then guess what? They're going to be happier, they're going to stay with us longer, they're not going to leave. So, answering specific questions throughout the customer journey. We talked about this, right? Thinking about, hey, as me and my agency, what are the key points that I need to be able to communicate with my customers? Identifying that, like I would say takeaway number 2 is identifying where in the customer journey, right? Like how people are talking to you, where you need to make sure that you have contact with them, that you're not utilizing today, right? Because look, we're not going to go into it. All right, next one. Collecting feedback and communicating updates or changes, right? Look, we have updates, we have changes that we have to get out about our agency, about who they're connected with, tons of different things, right? It's going to be different for every business. But collecting feedback from our customers is super important, right? People want to know, once again, that they are valuable, right? And we believe they're valuable, but they might not know that. And so when we ask for feedback from them about how we're doing, it's key. People will really appreciate that, and we can actually get some really good insights into how we can make our businesses better. And if you're doing that through the same communication channel that you've had going with them for a year, 2 years, then they're even more likely to actually do that and give you the feedback. Because I know maybe a lot of people in here are thinking the same thing that I've heard from a lot of people, which is like, well, look, we ask them this, right? We send off those emails and we get like 1.6739% back that actually respond. It's because, once again, people can see through that, right? So making it simple on a communication path that you're already using with them will make them more likely to actually be able to respond to you and give you feedback. Ask for a review. This is key, right? How many people here get reviews from their customers? Okay. How many people don't care about reviews? Oh, okay. Ooh. Somebody itched their nose back there, and I was like, wow, okay. We use reviews for everything, right? Amazon up there, I call it the Amazon effect, right? I will find 10 different vendors that sell the same exact thing, and whoever has the most reviews, guess who I'm going with? Them, right? Like, everybody's done it. Best restaurants, we already searched that, right? We're looking for reviews. We can ask our customers for reviews very, very simply, right? But they don't always leave a review, right? Like, how many people ask and somebody's like, oh yeah, even like a family or a friend, and you never see their review pop up? Everybody's been a part of that, right? I have been the offender in that situation plenty of times. And it's because, well, first of all, people don't know how to leave a review a lot of times. I actually, I'm not the best at like saying, hey, you have to do this and this and this and that, and Yelp and all that. So it's kind of difficult, right? And then people are busy. We all have lives, right? And like, yes, you're providing a good experience for them, but if it's not simple and easy and can be done in a couple of seconds, then you're going to be missing out on reviews. Who do we typically hear from though? Like they're the ones that don't have a good experience with us, right? They're the ones that are like, I've got a vendetta. I'm going to make sure no matter what I do, I'm jumping on a plane, I'm going to remember after 2 hours, I'm going to leave you a bad review, right? So asking for reviews is key. Making it simple, once again, is even more important. Okay, what to look for in a text messaging solution. Businesses report several challenges with text messaging, right? It's difficult to standardize. It's difficult to get everybody in the office doing the same thing. Anybody have that issue with anything that they're implementing? No? Wow, perfect business owners. All right, well, never mind. That's not a problem for you guys. Just kidding. It can be time consuming, right? To figure out new systems, new operations, right? It can take a lot of time out of our days if we're busy. Once again, we talked about this. The only thing that we can't pay for more of is more time. So we need to make sure we're utilizing our time properly. So Too many points of contact. We can be texting, right? Like I can text from my personal phone as an agent, but if I have somebody reaching out at 3 a.m. or when I'm presenting in front of people, what's going to happen, right? Like there's only one point of contact there, and people could be reaching out to me in multiple different ways. Fourth thing down here, there's too many disconnected messaging channels. What does this mean? What does this mean? How many people have a Facebook page? Okay, how many people have BBB? Okay, I know, that was a wild card in there. How many people have a Google My Business page, a Google page with reviews? Yes. Okay, how many people have more than 2 emails to get a hold of their business? Yes, yes. How many people have more than 2 business numbers? Yep. Sometimes tracking, marketing purchases. Okay, cool. So there can be too many disconnected messaging channels because it can be confusing, right? Our customers are trying to get a hold of us. There's a lot of different ways that these can be disconnected. Okay, 53% of businesses who use text messaging software say they are effective at communicating with their customers, compared to just 38% who do not use text messaging. Does anybody not text in here? Yeah, look, we already all do it, and it's super important. I don't remember who I was talking to earlier today, but I was telling them the only way I communicate with my grandma, who's 88 and lives just north of here, where does she live? It's okay. Rancho Mission Viejo. Just moved here. But the only way I communicate with her, and she's 88 years old, is through text message, right? Like she'll call me every once in a while, but 95% of it is through text. I don't care how old or how young, especially on the young side, people text, right? And so that's what we have. She might, but she's usually the one, hey, look, you're right. I know, I should have been a better grandson and driven up there while I was down here, but don't tell her. Shoot, somebody's going to text her. They know my middle name. She calls me Nathan David. I'm in trouble. You know what? I've heard that, yeah. He does. All right, I failed. I failed as a grandson, but what can I say? I'm a millennial.
You wondered why she always contacted you after 7 o'clock at night.
Yes. I like this group. You guys are fun. Come talk to me after. Look, texting, everybody does it. That's the important thing. And we need to make sure that our business is doing it too. All right. We need to implement a text messaging software that can consolidate all inbound messaging channels into one. Once again, time, operations. You need to make it simple for you guys as business owners and for the people that work for you. Allow conversations to transition seamlessly between employees. Look, how many times do we have people leaving, right? It can be difficult to keep people around, and we lose their book of business or their conversations that they've had with people, and we need to basically start from ground zero. It happens all the time, right? People leave because missed expectations and communication, thank you. And a lot of that happens because internally we don't have the best systems to pass things off, to communicate internally and to communicate properly externally. Track and manage leads as they come in. You need to be able to do that. Pretty straightforward. Integrate with systems that you already use so that some communication is automated, right? Once again, subtle plug. We are integrated with Hawksoft to be able to help standardize and automate some of this as well. Okay. All right. The full Podium plug here. So Podium can help you guys consolidate inbound messaging into one inbox, build your online reputation with reviews on the sites that matter most to you, easily connect you with customers from your website, send text campaigns out to policyholders, and collect feedback to help you guys improve as a business. Okay, really, really important here. And I think when I think about communicating with businesses, my mind always goes back to different experiences that I've had. I go back to that collision center I was telling you guys about with my car. It's Martin Collision. I was talking to, actually he's not in here. It's okay. But referred through an agent in Utah where I live. And they provided a solution where it was really, really simple to communicate with them. And it's not a fun experience when you have to go and take your car in, right, to get it repaired. That sucks, and you have to pay money and you can't drive your car and everything. So when I interacted with them, the fact that they had communication channels and were keeping me up to date and I didn't have to keep, trying to get a hold of them and like, hey, what's the update on my car? What's going on? You know, how long am I here? And who are your, what was it, like the rental car agency? Who do you guys use? They were on top of everything there. And it was actually, once again, they used Podium, but it was like 6 different people in their organization that I communicated with. First, it was front desk, then it was the salesperson, then it was the actual mechanic, and then it was the appointment calendar person, and then actually the owner of the business. And so, well, that's 5, not 6. But people that reached out to me all through the same communication channel, all through one inbox, and they provided us, this communication path that was really, really simple for me. And over the course of a week and a half, when I didn't have my car, I probably had 15 messages from them, all through text message, that I was able to communicate back and forth. And they made a terrible experience a little bit better. So, somebody raise a hand back there. Did I see that or no? Okay, perfect. All right, I wanted to open it up, yes, for Q&A here a little bit. And I wanted to ask some questions. So be ready to answer, okay? All right, yeah, we'll start with you.
We're texting through Hawksoft now, and with Hawksoft, do we have the capability of doing automatic text?
The question was, they're using Hawksoft now, and can they automate some text messaging through Hawksoft?
Pay you $400 a month.
Yeah, it's a great question. I actually don't know if Hawksoft automates any text messaging. Do you know? Anybody? We got a finger wag, so they don't. So there's no automated messages through Hawksoft. There you go. Glad you guys are in the room. Cool. I guess we'll pause. Any other questions from the audience before we jump in? Yeah.
Didn't it used to be when you had to have someone's permission to text them? Is that no longer true?
Great question. Yeah, all laws are out the window with texting. You can just do, no. I'm kidding. Yeah, so it's called the TCPA laws. It's the background, the legal on texting. Essentially, behind the TCPA laws, you need to have an opt-in if you're going to be sending something promotional, right? So if you are saying, hey, renew on your policy and save 10% or something like that, where it's some type of promotional value, then you need to have an opt-in, right, from that actual policyholder. If it's something like a review invite or a one-to-one text messaging, then you don't have to have an opt-in from them. Yeah. Great question.
I have one more question.
Please.
How do you get your landline turned into a text?
Yes. The question was, in case you didn't hear, how do you turn your landline textable? So there's a couple different ways that you can do it. It depends on the landline, I will say that first off, or if you do VoIP. But most all of them can be transferred to some type of textable system. So for instance, Podium on the back end, we just check and see if we can host the landline number. If it's an actual true landline, 99% of the time, then you can host the SMS on the back end through something like Podium. If it's a voice over IP, VoIP number, then it's kind of iffy if you can actually do that one. If not, then getting a separate number to text that's a localized number as well is kind of the next best option there. Make sure that you're localized. Great question.
We've got Hawksoft is using our number. We had to pay $99
To host it, yeah.
to get it hooked up.
Mm-hmm. See, yeah. So yeah, a lot of numbers will be able to be hostable is like the terminology there. And so yeah, it's just a matter of checking and making sure the software on the back end actually allows you to port the number over. So yes.
I just want to confirm, you can only have one place to host your number. You can't have Hawksoft and Podium or someone else use the same number.
Correct. The question/statement was that you can only have one system hosting your number, and that's a true statement. So, for instance, if you're texting and you have your landline or your number hosted on Hawksoft, in order to have that hosted on another system like a Podium, it can only be on one. You can't do it on two, right? Great statement. Yes. Is it a long question? Oh man, it's got me worried.
For the online people. So that actually brings up a good question in that, so we use Hawksoft texting and we have a template set up. So if we have a new user or a new client, there's all these templates that we have set up to makes it easy. So if we used your system, we wouldn't have that option to have the pre-made templates. Is that correct, or do you have templates also?
Great question, thank you. Yeah, we do have the option for templates, and you can attach forms and send multimedia messages. And feel free on that same thread, if anybody was texting, send your favorite GIF. My buddy in the back would love it. But yeah, you can send everything through there and do templates and have all of that set up. Yep. Great question. Okay, anything else before I ask my questions? Cool, all right. Now, who has been in business for more than 5 years? More than 10? More than 15? More than 20? Oh, shoot. All right, more than 30? Oh, we've got a couple, ooh, right around 30, okay. Well, that's a good point, yes. That's great. I was very curious what we have in the room. How many people have been with Hawksoft for more than 5 years? 10? 15? Whew. Wow, got some. I know. Yeah, you guys, they're just over here. Did you hear the question? No. Cool, that's great. So, majority of the people here have seen business change, right? And I talk about that at the beginning of the conversation, right? Like, expectations for everybody has changed from the businesses that have come around and provided the solutions that we really care for, right? Find anything on Google, order anything on Amazon, get it immediately. And so, expectations have changed. I think I was talking to somebody earlier today in here as well about how, life changed as an agency when we went from like Yellow Pages to online and actually having to go and do SEO and update a website, right? And so times have changed so much, right? I'm curious, has anybody felt like they are ahead of the times in here? Well, let's do that. Let's do a general question. People that feel like they are up to date and like with the times for their agency. Yeah, I like that. Okay. That's a fair group, right? The next question, right, is what does everybody think they need to do to actually update their agency and feel like they are with the times? I'm curious. I'm really curious, like if anybody is willing to speak up and answer. Yeah.
I need to let somebody younger make a lot of those decisions.
He said he needs to let somebody younger make a lot of the decisions for some of these new things that we're implementing, right? Somebody over here. Did you say?
I feel like we've updated a lot of things. My father-in-law was the one who was part of the organization to start it. He kind of reluctantly handed over the reins, and we've updated a lot of things. But I want to be able to do a lot more with video, like selling policies via video chats and stuff. So
very cool. Once again, subtle plug, Podium has a video chat capability in the same conversation thread in the platform. Well, come chat with us. Anybody else? I'm curious, thoughts for how they're going to, catch up with the times or be ahead of the times with their agency? Yeah?
I have the same issue with the video.
Yeah, video. That's once again like the changed expectations. How many people had done a Zoom meeting before COVID, face to face, had their camera on, right? How many after COVID have now done a Zoom meeting, right? Like, it's wild. It's wild. It's the expectation. Once again, I go back to my grandma. She can jump on Zoom and she can have her video up. 88 years old, and I will call her. Thank you for making me feel terrible. The expectations have changed, right? People want that. People want that, face-to-face interaction, but now they're less inclined to actually come into your office, right? So, very cool. I appreciate that. Anything else? Yeah? Automation. I'm curious. That's a big word. There's a lot. It's broad. What do you mean?
Automating the renewal process. So it can just kind of be automatic instead of
Yeah.
manual.
Automating the renewal process. Everybody else have an issue? I mean, that's time consuming. Yeah.
Continue to embrace technology, but reevaluate the current technology that we do.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Not for Hawksoft. Keep that forever. No, but yeah, I think that's a great point, right? Like reevaluating. I was just presenting down in Vegas last week, and believe it or not, I was talking a bunch of lawyers, right? And when you talk about industries that are behind the times, talk to a lawyer, holy moly. But they also sit in their spot for a long time, and so that was one of the biggest feedback, right, that we gave to them was you need to reevaluate some of the things that you've been doing and figure out some new ones. So great point. Anything else like this? Yeah.
Also, more data-driven decision-making on the other side, Don presentation.
More data-driven decision-making. Whew, that's a lot of Ds. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that's true, right? Like, once again, for evaluating the things that we're doing, we need to look at the data behind it. I think that's so smart. That's how we modernize, right? I know that was the title of the presentation here, and it was really centered around how can we create a very convenient process of communicating with our customers. But really, like, the overarching concept there is modernize, right? Like, we need to continue to adapt. People have been in business for a long time. You guys are still in business because you're able to adapt. Continue to evaluate the things that are out here. And, once again, with Podium, this is one of the solutions that Hawksoft has partnered up with and brought on as something that is modernizing a lot of agencies and the way that you guys do business. So feel free to chat with us. Nope. I'm going to go back to the beginning so you can see my actual contact info. You guys can reach out. Actually, just do that text message. Let's leave this up for a second. That's the easiest way for us. We actually, we use our own product to be able to communicate with our potential customers, and very, very simple. So feel free to text us, and we can communicate with you guys if you have questions about modernizing your agency. We'll close it up there unless there's any questions online. Great. Final question. Final thought.
No question, but I did notice that we were getting a lot of people like super irritated with calling our line over and over and over. It was busy. But with texting, they'll wait like 30 minutes.
Yes.
If we're busy, or we'll say we'll get back to you in a moment, and we have way less irritation, and they're so much more patient. So we can do an entire policy via text. So
yes,
it's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I think that's a fantastic point, right? Like the etiquette of texting. We talk about text etiquette. I don't know, but text etiquette. I don't have to respond within 10 seconds, right? I always question the people that I have in my life that can respond within 10 seconds. I'm like, what are you doing? It's not my grandma, don't worry. But yeah, look, there's some text etiquette, right? If I don't get back to somebody within 30 minutes, it's fine, right? Like, I'm sure I have a couple text messages on my phone right now. Exactly. Yeah. That's. Yeah. People can move on with their life. That's true. The elevator music. Yeah, chat can be hard. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're stuck there, right? Have you ever tried to do a live chat on your cell phone? No, impossible. So what she said was literally the reason I left my last agent years ago. I could not get a hold of them. I sat on hold 3 or 4 times for like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. I was fed up. And email, nothing worked. I just couldn't handle it. And that's it. Missed expectations, communications, right? Why do people leave? Fantastic. Thank you for all of your comments and engagement. I really appreciate it. Go out there, figure out how you can modernize your business. Talking about like the touch points, if there's even things without Podium, figure out how that you can provide the best communication process for your policyholders, and they will stay with you longer. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.